Series 217, Part 3, Stop Scrolling. Focus, because what you are about to hear will chase you. It will breathe on your neck long after this video ends. This is not just a story, it's a trap. Once you listen, the walls around you will feel thinner, the shadows closer, your heartbeat louder. Do you feel it already? Good. Welcome back to 217. Main story, continuous script. The corridor was darker than before. Not simply dark, alive, pulsing, as though the walls themselves were breathing. Every sound echoed too long, every step felt stolen from a place that didn't belong to humans anymore. Behind me, the door to the staircase had disappeared. In its place was only blackness, thick and absolute. The number 217 burned into my mind like fire. It wasn't just a room, it was a presence. And every time I whispered it under my breath, the shadows seemed to twitch as if they recognized the name. I pressed forward, my hands trembling as they grazed the peeling wallpaper. A faint sound traveled down the hallway, scratching. Not claws on wood, not nails on stone. It was like something trying to carve words into the very air. The closer I got, the clearer it became. Whispers. Dozens of them, no, hundreds. They overlapped, layered in languages I didn't understand, until one voice cut through them all. "You came back." I froze. The voice wasn't behind me. It wasn't ahead, it was inside me. I tried to shake it off, but my body wouldn't obey. My legs moved forward on their own, my breath shortened. And then I saw it. The door. Room 217. The brass numbers glistened as if freshly polished, though the wood was rotten and cracked. My hand reached for the handle against my will. It burned when I touched it, but the pain only anchored me deeper. I pushed the door open. Inside, the air was colder than ice, thick with dust that wasn't dust. It was ash. The room was alive with shadows, each moving in rhythm with my breath. A single chair sat in the center. Someone was already sitting there. They had no face, only a stretched mask of skin where eyes and mouth should be. Yet somehow I knew they were smiling. "You're late," the faceless figure whispered. The walls groaned. The floor beneath me cracked like bone. I staggered forward, unable to escape the gravity of the chair. My knees buckled, and before I realized it, I was seated across from the faceless one. They leaned closer, and without lips, without a mouth, I still heard the words. "Do you remember what happened the last time?" Images flooded me. Screams I never heard before, blood on my hands, my own reflection, but with eyes that weren't mine. I felt dizzy, the walls spinning, the shadows laughing. The voice pressed deeper. "You opened the door. Now you must finish what began." Suddenly the floor collapsed beneath us. The chair and the figure fell away into nothingness, leaving me suspended in an endless void. My body spiraled downward, surrounded by fragments of memories that weren't mine. A child crying, a woman screaming, a man begging. Each voice pierced my skull. Then, silence. I landed, not on ground, but on something softer, something that pulsed. I looked down. Flesh. A floor made of living flesh, veins glowing red beneath translucent skin. It stretched infinitely, shifting with each of my steps. Far in the distance, I saw doors. Thousands of them, stretching across eternity, each marked with a number. Poruma 342, 909. But no matter where I turned, the number burned brightest, 217. The whispers rose again, louder, angrier, demanding. One door opened on its own. I staggered toward it, pulled by a force that felt like hunger. Inside, I saw a version of myself. Same face, same clothes. But his eyes were hollow. He spoke with my voice, but his tone was sharper. "You think you're the only one? There are hundreds of us, each trapped, each reliving the same nightmare. Only one will survive." I reached for him, but the duplicate shattered into smoke. The room collapsed, dragging me into another vision, this time a hospital hallway. Lights flickered, machines beeped, nurses screamed in silence, their mouths open but no sound escaping. In the last room of the hallway, a body lay on a bed. My body tubes ran from my arms, machines keeping me alive. And above me, etched on the hospital ceiling, was the number 217. I tried to wake up, to escape, but every time I blinked, the world changed. From hospital to basement, basement to forest, forest to fire. Each shift tore pieces of me away until I wasn't sure who I was anymore. But the whispers never stopped. "Choose, choose, choose," I screamed back. "Choose what?" And for the first time, the whispers answered in unison. "Choose who dies in your place." The walls cracked open, faces poured out. Friends, strangers, people I once loved, people I never met. They reached for me, begging, clawing, their eyes hollow with desperation. Each of them had one thing in common. They all knew my name. All knew my name. I backed away, but the room shrank smaller, forcing me closer to the crowd. Their hands pulled at my skin, tearing, demanding sacrifice. And then, silence again. I was standing in the original hallway, room 217 in front of me, the door still closed, the brass numbers still glowing. But this time, something was different. The whispers weren't behind the door anymore. They were inside me. And when I looked down at my own hands, I realized they weren't mine at all. The reflection in the brass numbers showed a face that wasn't mine. Hollow eyes, skin stretched too thin. And when the mouth opened, I heard the words that made my blood run cold. Part 4 begins when you open the door again. Fade to black.